Chapter 7, The Cruel Sun. Next morning you feel Kieran's approach, even before he enters, fresh power from the moon's source thrumming in the air like thunder. Oleander awaits us at the carriage. Are you ready to depart for the Sun Palace? Kieran, you're dressed up, even more than usual. It seemed appropriate for a matter of this import. Do you like it? Yes. Kieran's regal garb, combined with the near-overwhelming weight of his power, makes you suddenly feel very small in comparison. You look wonderful. Kieran's eyes narrow, and he gives you a long, penetrating stare. You shiver and turn away, trying to hide your nerves. Tell me what's wrong. Nothing's wrong, I'm fine. His expression darkens. He crosses the room to you in 2 long strides, taking your chin in hand and firmly turning your gaze back to his. Ella, now is not the time for lies. It's just, going back there reminds me of when I was nothing more than a servant, foolish and powerless. I know Longclaw rules the Sun Court now, but... You flinch, overcome with the horrid memories. I can't stop thinking about... seeing you in that gilded cage. Ella. His face creases with sympathy, both of you haunted by the ghosts of the past that still feel too close to bear. We almost lost each other then. And a year later, the Sun Court's hardly changed. They still look at me like I'm not even a person. There's nothing I want to do less than face them again.
Dad, why sad?
Merlin flutters over from their new perch on the vines beside your bed and lands on your head, bending forward to peer at you upside down.
No sad. Kisses, kisses!
You're forced into laughter as Merlin brushes their soft nose against yours. Thank you, Merlin, that helps.
Merlin, help.
Merlin hops your shoulder and nuzzles into your neck in their soft weight, a reassuring comfort. I don't like it any more than you, but the Hall of Enlightenment is where we're most likely to learn more about the sources. I know, I'm just not sure I'm ready to head back into the lion's den and endure all their veined insults about me and us. Something dark and dangerous flickers in his eyes. His voice holds a low tone of command. You are ready. The terrible events of last year, those fools who thought they could bring you low, none of them can touch you now. And do you know why? You swallow and shake your head, caught in his eyes as Kieran brings you closer. Because you are the consort of the Moon Court, my consort. You outrank everyone in that wretched place, save Longclaw. When we walk into the Sun Palace, you will be strong, you will be regal, you will be magnificent. Do you understand? Yes. He rewards you with a heated kiss, snatching your breath from your body. When he breaks away, you're flushed and unsteady, and he smirks. Good. The world darkens around you, warm, clear like a summer night. In the moment, there's nothing but Kieran and you. The swimming shadows twist and fold around you, becoming sumptuous fabric when they touch your skin. You realize slowly that the fabric has the same warmth and the same adoration as the touch of the Night Prince himself. You made this for me? I would make and unmake the world for you, beloved. Let the Sun Court disrespect you at their peril. Wear this diamond choice outfit. Now see, I like this outfit. It's very pretty.
Pretty.
See, Merlin agrees. You stare at your reflection in wonder. Kieran stands behind you, pleased. Look at you, my Ella. When I was very young, I saw a portrait of a human royal family. I remember being in awe of their fancy clothes. We look like the portrait come to life. He kisses your neck, hands stroking up and down the dark fabric at your sides, warming you. And now any human royalty would fall to their knees at the sight of you. I would settle for the nobles of the Sun Court. You lean into him, feeling power radiating from you, the ornate outfit like battle armor. Do you feel ready for your grand entrance now, my love? In fact, I'm looking forward to it. A short carriage ride later, you arrive at the Sun Palace. Merlin wraps themselves around your hand, hiding their large, dark eyes in your palm.
right?
I know, Merlin. You can wait in the carriage if you'd like. We'll be back soon, and it would be nice and dark and cool in there.
No, Merlin, stay. Help, friend.
They nuzzle even tighter into your palm as a servant strides up to you, leading you towards the banquet hall. I shall let the day, Princess, know you have arrived. If you wish, you are welcome to dine with the court while you wait. No, thank you. We will go to Her Highness directly. Oleander grabs Kieran's shoulder and hisses under their breath. No, we cannot waste this opportunity. How will it look if the last remaining dregs of the Moon Court slink away immediately upon arrival? Unacceptable. We're staying for lunch. Much as I dislike the idea, I think Oleander may have the point, my love. I see, so the two of you formed an alliance against your prince? 'Twas only a matter of time, darling. Kieran huffs, but he strides after the servant to request a table. You find yourself alone with Oleander, that expression carved in marble. I would think you'd be more nervous than I am, seeing as you were the one exiled from this very court. Also, wasn't he, literally biding his time to not do this, but then do it eventually? I do not care what these fools banished me, only that they thought I was beaten. The Sun Court must see that they failed on all accounts to be rid of us, that the Moon Court is thriving. I think you're absolutely right. Even though I agree this is going to be an absolute disaster. It's time someone humbled the Sun Court. Just be sure to temper your ire. Never show your true feelings to the enemy, Ella. You must appear above all, no matter what. They will try to goad you into making a fool of yourself. Find a way to gain the upper hand. Show them you are in control. Do not ever show your true face. Do not let them know that they can get to you. I'll certainly try. It is sound advice. Kieran returns with a servant who leads you to a table, where opulence sits holding court among a gaggle of Sun Court fae. Too late to back out now. Squaring your shoulders, you try to match Kieran's confident stride as you close a distance to the lunch table. Oh, Your Highness, what a pleasant surprise. Please do join us. The other noble stands suddenly as you approach to bow and curtsy to you and Kieran both. Your Highness, to what do we owe the honor? You recall their previous bold rudeness at your party and smirk as their eyes grow large at the sight of your regal attire. Delighted to see you once again, Your Grace. Indeed. I'm sure you recall Oleander, newly sworn to my court. Sun Court fae wear matching distasteful smiles, trying to hide their surprise as they take in Oleander. Good day. And of course my consort needs no introduction. Hello, Ella. How's the wedding planning going? I'm sure it will be beautiful. Blood rushes to your cheeks and Kieran gives you a devilish grin. It's, going wonderfully. Thanks for asking. You carefully hold up your hand, making sure to shield Merlin from the brightest beam of light coming through the tall windows. And this is Merlin. Merlin looks up for a moment, taking Opulence in with dubious eyes.
Not friend.
How very novel. I hope you don't mind if we join you. Oh, you must. There's plenty of room. Kieran gestures for you to sit first, then Oleander and Kieran take their seats on either side of you. Opulence immediately focuses on Kieran. What brings you to our lovely palace, Your Highness? You've been so rare a sight this past century. Longclaw and I have much to discuss regarding Eclipse. Their most recent attack demands a response. Opulence was just telling us the ghastly details. Awful. What an audacious, shameless wretch, that Jack. Many of our court are still recovering from iron wounds. Asked her, how is your injury healing? Oh, it's much better. Your little servant explained your sewing spell. I've been telling everyone, positively gruesome. Aster lifts her tunic to proudly show off the still healing gash across her ribs. Opulence arches one perfectly manicured eyebrow. Sewing spell. How quaint. Kieran, I was very much aggrieved to hear of the loss of your knight. Allow me to offer you my condolences. Kieran frowns, biting out the required polite response with obvious effort. Thank you. Quite a shame to lose one of your court, but it must be an even greater loss when your numbers are so few. Opulence is implying that we're weak. I can't let that slide. Opulence. Our numbers are not the issue. Rather, I would suggest what is important at this time is the willingness of both courts to put aside their petty squabbles and unite as one. As we've unfortunately seen, all Fae are equally weak against an iron sword. If Jack succeeds, both courts will fall. Well said. I suppose you're right. We must do something. I would have also gone with, quantity doesn't beat quality. You revel in the flash of irritation that crosses her features, only to dissipate into a placid pleasantness. So, Elle, I'm desperately curious. What was it like to go from Kieran's servant to his lover? Excuse me? Did you find the Moon Palace very grand and romantic, or was it terribly frightening? So rarely do we hear the mortal side of such tales. Should I be offended at your assumption that Ella was frightened of me? Oh, don't be so short-tempered, Kieran. You must admit the tale of a humble human servant seducing her brooding Fae master is wonderfully dramatic. Oleander lifts a meaningful brow, telling you silently this is a thinly veiled excuse to shame you. Opulence. Any mortal would have been frightened. You poor dear. One really can't expect a human to know how to handle a Fae prince. I think I handled the situation as well as anyone could have, mortal or Fae. Oh, but at least one of the Fae would have knowledge of magic and curses to work from. And all the more admirable how she now sits before you as the prince's consort, I would say. You breathe a tiny sigh of relief as Oleander comes to your rescue, and Opulence is forced to acknowledge it with a stiff smile. Indeed. I'm pretty sure, all of you Fae people were really afraid of Kieran, too. Just saying, the whole immortality, invincible thing, kinda... Yeah. Opulence plasters on a tight smile as she changes the subject. I would imagine living in your world is quite exciting for you, Ella. That's certainly one way to put it. Do you know much of magic? My family is the foremost pioneer of spell ingredients to Fae and mortal alike, though I've been expanding into new avenues over the past century. Ella is highly knowledgeable in the mortal versions of healing salves and potions. Is that right? I'm sure your highness is very proud of her, especially as she has had so little chance for proper education in such things. A proper education? Oh, everyone knows the little villages on the outskirts of Fae aren't exactly bastions of enlightenment. My trade has taken me all over the realms. Such places really produce much of consequence. Are you aware of why Eclipse hates Fae? Why does it have to do with anything? The threat Eclipse poses is the real, very reason for our visit today. Jack's mortal army did not appear from thin air. Perhaps those centuries of ignoring and diminishing poor villages such as mine set the stage for Jack to capitalize on their unrest. Are you saying we are to blame? My home was attacked. As was ours. Oh, certainly was the fault of no one here. But perhaps now is precisely the time for Fae to begin examining their treatments of mortals. Opulence appears at a loss of words, with the Fae beside her look thoughtful. My consort is exceedingly clever, don't you agree, Opulence? Quite an asset, your highness, to be sure. You know, I had heard the Moon Court was making a recovery. I'm glad to see with my own eyes. Your court may be small, your grace, but it does not lack for strength. Perhaps we should stand tall together after all. You impress the Sun Court with your social graces, thank you. I'm glad we agree. You smile graciously at Opulence, as avoid your eye, fuming in silence for the rest of the meal. You're spared further in conversation when the same servant from before approaches the table with a smooth curtsy. Queen Longclaw apologizes for the delay. If you would be so kind as to follow me. Rising from the table, you make polite farewells and follow the servant out of the dining hall, the opulence following your every move with narrowed eyes. What has kept Longclaw occupied for so long? The librarian has encountered some trouble in locating the materials you requested. What kind of trouble? I'm afraid I do not know. The Day Princess is seeing to the matter personally, but she fears it may be a while. Marvelous. I don't suppose there's something we could freshen up in the meantime. I positively reek of Opulence's horrid perfume. As it happens, Her Highness recently added a new guest wing to the palace. The rooms are decorated in the mix of sun and moon motifs. The windows are even enchanted to look like the night sky. Oh, that does sound lovely, but I wouldn't want to keep Longclaw waiting. She's literally keeping you waiting. Ella Longclaw's gone out of her way to make us feel welcome, and a bath would be lovely. Don't you agree? Kieran gives you a sly look and leans in to whisper, I do enjoy the sight of water sparkling on your skin, especially in starlight. You stifle a gasp as the chain around your body lights up with an icy sensation, sending a promising chill across your skin. Kieran smirks. Oh. Something the matter, my love? Perhaps it would be nice to wash off all the dust from our journey. Diamond choice. The servant smiles as Merlin flits overhead, sniffing curiously at her hair. If your grace wishes, I can see to your pet is fed and groomed.
Food?
I think they would appreciate that, thank you. Do try not to take too long. We have work to do. Some things are not to be rushed, Oleander. The servant leads Oleander to their private room, and soon you and Kieran are alone in yours. That's pretty. Oh, look at this beautiful view. You rush to the window. The night sky through the windows is mesmerizing. Clouds of purple and rose swirling among the brilliant white stars. A magnificent view indeed. Kieran comes up behind you, slinking hands around your waist. You shiver as his lips go against your neck as he slowly begins to undress you. Dealing with the Sun Court is never easy. Tell me they did not make you feel unworthy of being my consort. It's not that, well, not just that. Your mind whirls with the possibility of what you might soon discover, the chance that a decades of bliss with Kieran could become centuries. Perhaps I haven't properly convinced you of just how worthy you are. Allow me to remedy that. As you speak, Kieran lovingly peels your clothes from your body until they lie gathered at your feet. It's so cold in here. I'll warm you. Kieran leads you to the bathtub and helps you in. You sink into the steaming water, sighing with pleasure. Are you not joining me? Kieran kneels behind you, still fully dressed, a beautiful crystal vial in his hands. I will, but first, let me take care of you. He massages sweetly, fragrant oil near your neck and shoulders in long, deep strokes, his strong hands melting the tension you've held all day. Being unable to violently punish those who disrespect you is a particular torture. But pleasing you brings me no small amount of joy ever since the day at the Flower Festival. Oh, what was it about me that enchanted you so? The way you delighted, even in the simplest things. It was the first glimpse of hope I had that one day I could be happy again, as long as you were at my side. His gentle touch dives lower over your chest, down beneath you, water between your thighs, drawing a gasp and a stirring of flame within you. Kieran, you give me too much credit. You would have broken your curse with or without me. Perhaps, but without you, I would not have learned to trust love again. Her head lolls back against Kieran. Luxury and comfort suffuse your body as Kieran bathes you with scented soaps that tingle on your skin. False happiness is the norm in this realm. Rarely do Fae risk expressing their true feelings, lest it be used as a weapon against them. But your happiness shines through like a flame, Ella, pure and effervescent, warming all those who gaze upon you. He praises and strokes you in equal measure until you're squirming beneath his hands. Kieran, you're too much. Let me touch you. But it is my wish to spoil you. Don't you want to please me? Kieran, I much prefer vexing you. You sit up and slide out of his reach, throwing him a saucy look over your shoulder. His dark eyes burn with wicked promise. Then I shall still spoil you, even if I must tie you down to do it. Either way, I will enjoy myself. Your pulse kicks into a gallop as he conjures a silken cord and swiftly captures your wrists to bind you, grabbing you back to lean against him. You cry out with surprise and pleasure as the chain Kieran gives you curls against the bonds and pulling taut everywhere it touches your skin, cold and electric and beautiful. Not fair. He drapes your bound arms around his neck, soaking his shoulders, and resumes exploring your body beneath the water. You seek punishment, little dove, but today I desire only your pleasure, so you will have it, whether you wish it or not. The water, I'll ruin your clothes. You gasp, grabbing his hair reflexively as he nips your earlobe. Ruin them, I don't care. You twist at the rope and whine as Kieran redoubles his teasing. Be good and I'll release you for what comes next. His magic tugs you upward until you're suspended, soaking the floor as he ducks his head between your thighs. Ruh-roh. Basically bound chihuahua. I know, but tending to you means my heart somehow more and more. As he drapes the towel over your back, you press against him for a long, sumptuous kiss, marveling at how long it's been since you felt so safe. Longclaw meets you at the gilded doors of the library, face lighting up at the smile, despite the obvious worry in her bright eyes.
Oh, how wonderful it is to see you all here. I only wish I had better news.
She bends down to examine your hand.
But who is this new face?
This is Merlin. They're from the Moon Palace catacombs.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Merlin.
She holds out her paw to shake, but Merlin shrinks back, clinging tight to your hand.
Bear!
Friend, Bear. Merlin considers and flaps over to lay tummy down in Longclaw's paw.
Friend Bear! Oh, this is exactly what I needed today. Thank you, Ella. And thank you, Merlin.
Longclaw leads you over to the head librarian, whose leaves are shaking with agitation. Your Highness, I was told you were looking for a tome that compiles research on ancient magic. Yes, that's right. There is a compendium of research from both courts. It details the early spells the ancients used to capture the sources and strengthen themselves against their enemies. That is exactly what we need. Bring it at once. We do not have it. Why ever not? What has happened to it?
We have been searching all day, but it has apparently not been in the library for some time.
Are you saying someone stole it? We cannot say, Your Grace. If it is not here, then someone has it. And we will find them. The library keeps records of those who take each book, does it not? Of course, but... Then let us see it. The librarian conjures a gigantic tome overfilled with withered pages, and you flip it open gingerly. This does go back centuries. We don't have time for this. Pages fly fast with an irritable command from Kieran, and Merlin flaps over to your chest to get a better look.
Fast!
Finally, the fluttering of pages stops, and a name glows softly from the yellowed page. The book was last checked out over 100 years ago, and by Lustry. The book snaps shut and disappears, a furious thundercloud, and Kieran's expression. Kieran... To the dungeons, then. Kieran stalks out of the library, the rest of you hurriedly follow, Longclaw wringing her paws. They are still in the dungeons, Longclaw?
Of course, since the day you broke your curse, wearing enchanted bracelets that prevent them from doing their magic.
Good. And no one has visited them? No one at all?
Of course not. My uncles, Lustry and Radiance, have not seen a soul aside from a few guards and myself.
Kieran stops short and faces her. You visit them. For their crimes, they should rot in darkness with only their own miserable selves for company.
Radiance is my brother, Kieran. My only brother.
Kieran's lips part, and he can only shake his head in wounded disappointment. Kieran, you know... Longclaw's not betrayed you. He squeezes his hand, hoping to quell the storm inside of him. She loves you, as we all do. It's simply that she still loves Radiance too.
It breaks my heart to see the manipulative, cynical creature Radiance has become, but I cannot blame him for it. Radiance was but a child when Brightness and Blaze got their claws into him. I still hope that in time I can break through, and that we can return to what we once were.
Tell me what you've witnessed in the prisoners, then. Have we any of them so much as feigned penitence?
I fear we may have a challenge on our hands.
At the end of the corridor, the staircase leading down to the dungeons looms open like a grinning maw ready to swallow you up. This is it. Time to face them. But as you draw closer, you find yourself slowing down, the rest of the group gradually pulling ahead as your stomach twists itself into knots. Kieran, stop. We need a strategy. My strategy involves speaking to those vipers as little as possible. Kieran, this is about more than a book. Something in your tone makes him turn. The moment he sees your face, he falls back to your side. You do not have to go down there, after what they did. I need to, because of what they did. If I don't face them now, they'll know they still have power over me. I can't give them that, I won't. Ella is right. If Lustry and Radiance sense any weakness, we'll never get anything out of them.
To say nothing of my uncles.
And I can do this, Kieran. I need to do this. I need them to see that they didn't break me. Kieran cups your face with both hands, dark eyes somehow glowing with pride. My brave, unstoppable Ella, no one in the world could ever take your power from you. The Night Prince's lips suddenly curl into a wicked grin. And if you wanted to make that fact abundantly clear, perhaps Longclaw would be so good as to lend us the throne room. Diamond choice. You follow Longclaw to the familiar, bright, cavernous room. Hot sunlight glares from the towering windows all around, and yet you feel cold. This room certainly has a lot of bad memories. You can't help but shudder at the spot on the floor where you collapsed bleeding and Kieran's mindless beast nearly killed you. Ella. He takes you by the shoulders and looks you in the eyes, knowing the grim memories written there. Remember that this is where you brought the oldest, most powerful Fae in the realm to your knees, and you're about to do it again. Right. Longclaw leads you up onto the dais to the trio of thrones. You hesitate, assuming Longclaw will take her seat and Kieran his.
Oh, you go ahead, Ella. I never found the throne very comfortable anyway.
Me, sit on the throne of all Fae? Imagine nothing would infuriate Lord Blaze and Brightness more. You sit hesitantly, half fearing some magic will strike you down, but you feel nothing, aside from an intoxicating sense of power. I feel strange. They're not gonna buy it. I feel like a child playing dress-up. Get used to it. You'll have a throne of your own at the Moon Palace soon enough. Just do what mortals do best and lie. You lean back on the throne, affecting a confident smirk, and nod to Longclaw. I'm ready.
Bring in the prisoners.
The grand golden doors open, guards march in 4 disheveled prisoners, forcing them to their knees before you. What is the meaning of this? How dare that filthy mortal scum sully our court seat of power? That does not belong to you, stupid girl. Blaze wrinkles his nose in disgust as he takes in Merlin, who nestles tight against your chest. And with a vermin, no less. Merlin is a member of our court. You will address them as such or face the wrath of the Night Prince. You're so cute. Lustry blinks with disbelief at the sight of you, then throws back her head and cackles. A mortal sits in the throne of the Sun Court. Now I've seen everything. She flutters her eyelashes at the impassive, smirking Kieran. Hello again, darling. Did you miss me? Radiance's eyes pass over you with a serene, arrogant malevolence, a silent promise that chills you. Quite an interesting change in our stations, is it not, Ella? Do you enjoy the sight of me on my knees before you? As a matter of fact, you deserve worse. If it were up to me, Radiance, the four of you would not be here at all. I always knew you to be a weakling, Glenn, but to allow a mortal on your throne. Pathetic. Longclaw flinches at the name, and you give her paw a small squeeze.
On the contrary, dear uncle, unlike some, I do not require fancy thrones or ostentatious displays to prove my power. My strength speaks for itself, thank you very much.
Indeed it does. I demand to know what is going on here. Why is it sitting on the throne? You'll demand nothing. You will kneel in the presence of your betters, and you will keep your mouth shut until we allow you to speak.
I think they need something from us, cousin.
Of course. I knew there must be some reason we were still alive, aside from my sister's pathetic weakness, that is. Olander leans into you and speaks underneath their breath. They no longer have any need to maintain even the pretense of courtly manners, which means neither do you. Putting my feet up, pulling Kieran to me, reminding Radiance of his defeat. Do you like what is done with the throne room? Dear Longclaw had such a ghastly mess to clean up after we stormed the palace. Just there, do you see, Radiance? That was where Kieran threw you into a wall. I believe it took a long time to fix that dent you made. Enjoying yourself, are you? Oh, almost as much as when I slapped the audacity from your frozen face. You dare speak to his majesty! And from where I sit, Radiance wears no crown, only shackles, and he bears no title but prisoner. Silence, uncle. It does not matter. What is it you want, Kieran? You will address my consort, Radiance, for in case you have not noticed, it is she who sits on the throne. Attempting to insult me by defiling my throne with your mortal plaything is childish and beneath you, Kieran. That is no way to speak about Ella after she so generously allowed you to briefly glimpse daylight. If I were you, I would begin by thanking her and throw yourself on her continued mercy. Because you'll get none from me. Radiance reluctantly turns his gaze up to you and mock bows, sneering the charming mask long discarded. How may I, disposed prince of the Sun Court, be of service to the Moon Court's upstart little pet? No, we've already taunted him once. Ignore him. You smile at Kieran instead, and he smirks knowingly. Did you hear something, my love? Nothing of consequence, beloved. Just get on with it. If we were only here to be mocked, then I would rather return to my cell. You're in no place to make demands, and we have more important matters to attend to than volleying each other. Kieran gives you a nod, letting you take the lead. Very well. Lustry, what do you know about the sun and moon sources? Moo sources.
More than even the rulers of Alfei, apparently. Why? Are you in need of a tutor?
Unfortunately for you, my schedule is fully booked for the next century or so, and you can't wait that long, can you, dear? Spare us your tiresome games, Lustry. We know you were last in possession of a compendium of research on ancient magic. Where is it? Lustry taps her chin and pretends to think.
I do seem to remember something like that. It was quite useful, full of fascinating, powerful magic, spells, curses.
You found the curse you used against Kieran in that book?
Oh, typical curses wouldn't work against him. Of course, with all of his paranoid protections. And it takes quite strong magic to enthrall a prince.
Lustry preens, obviously enjoying the attention and chance to further wound Kieran any way she can. You're treading on my already thin patience, Lustry. Speak or I shall make you speak.
Ooh, how deliciously promising. Quite the sadist then, darling.
Lustry breaks into a hideous laughter, eyes dancing on yours, her wicked delight turning her stomach.
You can't honestly say this delicate little whelp could possibly fulfill your deepest desires. I know you.
Kieran betrays his outrage by narrowing of his eyes, a cold flicker of shadowy magic flaring from one clenched fist. You step forward. Poor Lustry. It must be so hard seeing Kieran so much happier without you. Must sting to know that Kieran chose a mortal as his consort, and not you.
Go ahead and gloat. He's no better than the rest of us, you stupid girl. Enjoy it now because you won't survive long.
Fighting the urge to sink to her level, you instead take your cue from Oleander, remaining calm and smug. I'm sure this is the most entertainment you've had for months, Lustry. But we really don't have all day to amuse you. Where is the book?
Oh, that. I'm afraid I dropped it into a fountain. Utterly ruined. Too bad. It was only one of a kind.
Frustration wells up in you. You turn uneasily to Kieran and speak underneath your breath.
Now what?
Lustry. Kieran scowls murderously, but before either of you can decide your next move, a tremor shakes the ground beneath your feet. What's going on, Longclaw?
I don't know. Bad. Very bad.
Another tremor, stronger this time, shakes the very walls of the Sun Palace. What manner of trickery is this? You think we are responsible? Shut up and unshackle us, fools! Ella! Faster than your eye can follow, Kieran shoves you out of the way as a huge chunk of ceiling crashes down just where you were standing. The ground heaves a third time. Horror strikes your heart as a fissure opens up in the floor, widening as it races towards you. No. There's no floor beneath you anymore. Only empty air. As you plunge into the darkness, the last thing you see is Kieran's horrified face, one outstretched hand still reaching desperately for you. Ella! So, without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description. Plenty of things to check out there. Ways to support the channel. And basically ways to, become more of an intricate part of this community and family, if you'd like. With that being said, so, do you think it had something to do with the uncles, Radiance, or basically any of them? Lustry included, or do you think it was possibly Jack? Because remember, Jack's whole shtick is coming after both of the moon and sun sources. There is a possibility, and this is my hypothesis, is he learned because of Lustry, or the overconfidence of it. Basically, we should have been also fishing about if they knew Jack, if they knew of anything about his background or things like that. Remember, Monty died knowing something, right? He died with secrets upon his lips, right? So the question is there something bigger going on or whatnot? So let me know in the comments section below. Again, love your beautiful faces. Thank you all for watching and tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.